we officially open Orchard Harvest 2025. Hey everyone, and welcome to Orchard Harvest. I am Viktória Végh-Magyar and I am thrilled to be your host for the next 2 days. As one of the main organizers, I just want to say that how excited we are to have you all here, and whether you are here to connect, learn, or just soak up the community vibes, we have tried to make everything as smooth as possible. If you ever need help, just look out for anyone with an organizer or speaker and organizer badge, and we will help you with anything. A couple of fun things before we get rolling. The first up, the team t-shirt. This year we got a special t-shirt celebrating Orchard Harvest's return to Europe. And this year we have chosen 2 symbols of Prague. The Church of the Mother of God Before Tin is a Gothic church, and it has a dominant feature in the old town of Prague. It has been the main church of this part of the city since the 14th century, and secondly the Prague Castle, which was built in the 9th century, and according to the Guinness Book of Records, the Prague Castle is the largest ancient castle in the world. So it's a little memento for us all. And we also want to give a massive thank you to our sponsors and main organizers, Hooks Design and Lombik Technologies. Their support made this event possible. And some quick heads up. I will have a short introduction before each session, and you will be able to ask questions from the speakers after each topic, and we will have short breaks between 2 talks. You can check the start of the next session on the printed programs or at orchardcore.net/harvest, and you have a QR code on the back of your badge as well to the web page. And this afternoon we will have a photo shoot before the lunch break, and every session is being recorded to our YouTube channel. And now it's time to announce the winner of the Jean-Thierry Kéchichian Community Award. As many of you know, Jean-Thierry was such a big part of our community, and after his passing we wanted to honor his legacy and keep his memory bright. So we created an annual award in his name to inspire all of us to continue making a difference. And every year the community gets to vote. And for someone who has done the most for Orchard Core, it can be spreading the word, reaching out, community management, helping out on issues, the many things. It should be visible and it has an impact. After a public round of nominations and a secret voting, we got our winner. And beyond the recognition, there are some cool perks. Get featured in the Orchard documentation, a shout out on our Orchard X account. Lombik provides free custom domain usage on .nest, and publicizing the winner in Lombik's media. And the winner is... It's Mike Arnett. That he's not here with us this year, but last year he helped a lot organizing the harvest as well. So again, a big applause for him. Okay, so we hope you have an amazing time with us. And now let's kick off things. I'm excited to introduce our keynote speaker, Benedek Farkas, Managing Director of Lombik Technologies. He will be sharing what's happened since last year, the big moments, current highlights, and where we are heading next.
All right, so welcome everyone to the 8th Orchard Harvest. My name is Benedek Farkas. Vicky introduced me. You can see like contact details and whatever. Not that important. What's important is why we are here. And let's talk about a past a little bit, because, well, for me at Orchard Harvest this is the first time I'm doing the keynote, and usually when I talk to people who are sort of new to the community or haven't been long in the community too much, sometimes, especially at Orchard Harvest, we can tell them a lot of interesting things about what happened like 10 years ago in the community. So I wanted to give like a very, very brief overview. We could probably, I don't know, if you talk to Sebastian, we could, I don't know, go on for hours if you can, I don't know, recall some tales. But if you want to get a glimpse into the past, Orchard is a very old project. It was started, as far as we know, from the repository at the end of 2009. That was almost to the day 16 years ago, which is insane. And yeah, we have come a long way since then. And interestingly, there's a lot of French people involved, at least in the beginning, but also like in the near past and also in the present. And for me, Orchard for a long time was synonymous with two specific persons. Both of them are French, and there's other contributors to, or big contributors to Orchard in the very beginning. But of course, this time I'm talking about Sebastian and Bertrand, and both of them are here this time, which is insane. Bertrand, this is the only, like, this is your only profile picture everywhere, so I figured it's going to be fine.
But it made that.
Yeah, it's sort of recognizable, right? So
it's accurate.
yeah, so it's great, and it's really great to have you here again at Orchard Harvest. Sebastian, I return the favor. You look good in this picture too.
Can you make me better?
I just grabbed it from GitHub, I think. Yeah.
Can you make me better?
Not me, maybe Milan can help, he's better with photo editing, I don't know. So yeah, and to be fair, there's a bunch of other people who are worth mentioning to stick to the French line for some reason. Obviously we have Jean-Thierry, but you know, we have Antoine, who's a huge contributor, but yeah. But since you know, you two guys are the first ones that I you know, got to know, then yeah, I wanted to make this Daft Punk joke, so it fits the picture. So to look into the brief history of Orchard 1, the one that released later was in 2011. By then it was already open source for a while, and then the last major release was in 2016. That was 1.10, so it was a very, very long time ago. But to look into the present and the future a little bit, we had a release recently with tons of contributions from, well, there are some people here who, you know, made that happen. Obviously, Orchard Core is more the focus since 2015, 16 or something like that. But we had a release quite recently, and there will be a 1.11, which is probably the last major release of Orchard 1. But at least, you know, we are leaving it in a nice, usable state without, I don't know, vulnerable NuGet packages, you know, libraries updated and whatever. So if you need to use Orchard 1 in a project and you can't migrate yet, very strongly recommend it. But if you can't migrate yet, then at least you can use it for a while. And Orchard Core, so like I mentioned, yeah, I remember Rock, so Orchard Core was started in 2014. Actually, the most active contributor for a very long time, I think, maybe even for a year, was Nick, who's not here at Harvest, but thanks Nick for doing all that work. And if you are really like an Orchard Core OG, you remember that it wasn't always called Orchard Core, it was Orchard VNext for a while, and then it was Orchard 2, so if you see someone having a fork of Orchard Core, which is called Orchard 2, then you know that was from a long time ago. Sebastian even called it Brochard at some point.
You should have played the video.
Okay, yes, next time. If I'm the keynote speaker next year, then yeah, we'll do that. And there was a long time until the first release, 1.0. It was, what was it, 7 years almost. But there was a lot of work that went to it, and then, you know, it's picking up the pace since then. Obviously, a lot more contributors are here working on it, lots of new features, lots of bug fixes, and everything. So we have 2.0 just before the last harvest, so it was a little bit more than a year ago, and then the last, well, it's a patch release in October, and I think 3.0 is also quite close, so that's something to be excited about. And also a little bit about Orchard Harvest, because obviously this is the 8th Orchard Harvest, in case you didn't know. The first was in Santa Monica, California in 2012. That was a huge deal for me personally, first time in the United States, so it was awesome. That's where I met some of you for the first time, which is amazing. Next year we went to Amsterdam, because there's a certain contributor who was living there for a while, or at least most of his life, right? So yeah, that was, I'm talking about Sitka, obviously. So the first one was in Europe, was in Amsterdam. Last year we went to Las Vegas, and as Vicky mentioned, huge thanks for helping organizing that to Mike. And finally we are here in Prague. Probably next year we go to the United States again. And let's talk about us a little bit. So who we are, what we are doing here. So we are here from well, a little bit around the world. So thank you everyone who took a very long trip from Seattle, Washington State. I'm not sure if Seattle exactly. There's two of you, yes. Bertrand, not anymore. You took a shorter trip, as far as I know, yeah. But yeah, thanks Sebastian and Chris for taking that long flight. Otherwise, we are here from all around Europe, and interestingly, the United Kingdom is winning this one in terms of attendees. So congratulations! But we are here from Netherlands, Germany, Czech Republic, obviously, Hungary, Austria, France, Spain, and Italy, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's the information I have right now. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming here. Obviously, this only makes sense if we come from if we get together and have a chance to talk. So it's great to be here with you all. And let's talk a little bit about what happened since the last harvest, because Orchard Core has become a lot better in every way since then. If you look at the statistics, I'm not going to read them out, but if we were to consider these as like KPIs of a business, I think these are very respectable year-on-year growth numbers. So congratulations everyone who contributed, even just a question, or even just joining the community. And obviously, again, thanks Mike for all the contributions that you did since last year, because yeah, that won you an award for that, so that's great. And let's talk about what happens in the near future. So, like I mentioned, Orchard 111 is sort of a legacy project right now. Orchard 1.11 is going to be the last. We can call it major release, although in terms of semantic versioning, it's not entirely correct. But let's say that it's a major version. So after that, there will be some maintenance work still probably. But if you're still stuck on Orchard 1, then yeah, again, it's very strongly recommended to upgrade. And if you decide to upgrade, then Orchard Core 3.0 is something to look forward to. There's a little bit of work still to be done until then, so it wasn't ready for this harvest. Last time it was very nicely timed for 2.0 to be released just before the harvest in Las Vegas. But as you can see, massive amount of changes went into preparing for 3.0. There are 31 new contributors, which is great. And we'll see maybe 4.0 is going to happen before or near Orchard Harvest next year when we go to the United States probably. And I also wanted to give you some personal anecdotes, so to speak, because Orchard community, the project, and everything has been in most of my adult life. So back in 2012, when we went to the Orchard Harvest, I was 22 years old. So you can make the calculation that it really is like my most important adult years probably has been somewhat affected by Orchard Core, and the community. A lot of traveling around the world related to Orchard directly, and also other business trips around the world that were related to the work that we are doing with Orchard and Orchard Core, which actually was super important because I saw a lot of a lot of different countries that I didn't really think at 22 years old that I would be able to visit. And that was actually made possible in part by you all. Those of you who've been in the community, contributed and made this project grow. And that's why it made sense to build a business around it, and that allowed me to see and travel the world into Far East Asia, into several states in the United States, even South Africa, and all around Europe. So that in itself, just seeing the world and meeting tons of people from different cultures has been hugely influential to me. And like I said, it was made possible in part by you. So I'm super grateful for that. And that's why, I wanted to take this opportunity to be the keynote speaker, to be able to tell you that. So thank you very much for all the work that you have done. Even, like I said, if you just asked a question that was, I don't know, important to you, but it sparked a conversation, or just fixed a typo, or contributed a massive feature, like, I don't know, all sorts of things that we use in day-to-day business projects. Actually, I wanted to ask Bertrand, do you remember what was your first commit in Orchard, back in Orchard 1?
I have no idea.
It was something licensing related. And I think you had the 9th commit in the repository. So that's how OG Bertrand is, everyone. So he can, I don't know, do you remember anything? Maybe during the panel discussion you can tell us some stories from back in the day.
Lots of stories.
You have lots of stories?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm eager to hear them. Awesome. And what about you, Sebastian? Do you remember what you did first in Orchard?
I could speak like 12 hours to explain what I did.
Okay, yeah, but what was the first thing?
First thing, yes, well, maybe I am committed, but my first work on Orchard was to try a news module. But I probably didn't try it, committed.
I didn't see
I
any.
would say for Bertrand it would have been documentation.
Licensing,
I
yeah.
would say the first thing I did
Design
for
documentation.
Orchard is actually sign the work for hire agreement, which means that I was still a Microsoft employee, but I was working for them.
And my contract was a contract for Outer Curve Foundation and not Microsoft.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
And
guys
that
did
wasn't-
some.
It doesn't look like much, but it was a big deal, and that's one of the reasons Orchard still exists today. We make sure that the community would own the platform, not
Okay.
Microsoft.
So just for the recording, I repeat that. So what Bertrand did for the first time in Orchard was basically administrative work for the community to be able to own Orchard and allow it to grow outside of Microsoft. That's a good summary.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, that is vital, so to speak. And actually, Sebastian's first contribution was the Azure Blob Storage module, which we used for years. You remember?
So my first work on Orchard, actually now I remember, I was in Vancouver, and my goal was to add Azure support in Orchard, and it was just cloud services at that time.
Yes.
And
No
cloud
web apps.
services, it will always fail. Like Azure was just, you deploy something, and you had a yellow screen, like, an Oracle. And what? You didn't know. I had to call support to
Wow.
ask them what failed on my app, and they would go on the machine and show the logs to me. I'm like crazy times.
Wow. And that was
My first-
17 years ago.
It was April 2010, the 12th of April 2010, something like that. And I joined Microsoft.
Yeah.
The day we shipped Visual Studio, what's the island? Orcas or something. There was a new Visual Studio 2010, I don't remember. And that's the day I got hired and I worked on Azure Cloud Services. They thought it would not be possible to make it work, so they said, oh, the new guy, we'll ask him to do it.
Nice. Well, typical corporate structure. So what Sebastian did for the first time is that making sure that Orchard works on cloud services, because there were no Azure Web Apps back then, and it wasn't working. He was new at Microsoft, and they sent him to do the busy work. And we all come a long way since then. So that's awesome. So yeah, again, thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for making my life better. And I wish you all an awesome Orchard Harvest conference. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much. And yeah, I applaud you too. Yeah. Ooh, questions.
Like exactly. We still
Oh.
have some time, so
Yeah.
So what was your first copy to Orchard? Aha!
I don't know. I actually haven't checked, but I know that my first Orchard open source contribution was to Piotr's module, you know, the advanced menu for Orchard 1.3.
Yes.
I fixed some CSS, whatever, I don't know. Yeah. And that was in 2011.
is there anyone with questions or stories? Because we have some time to share more.
Oh, it was not a joke.
We have.
All right, that's it. Okay, so thanks
No,
everyone.
let's talk about.
Yeah.
Let's talk about first contributions. What people did in Orchard and why. Like I see Matteo, for instance. Matteo.
Who, by the way, thanks for calling him out. I actually forgot. Sorry, I wanted to mention. So the Orchard 1.10.4, if you look at the changes, a lot of them has came from Matteo and his colleagues. So thank you to you as well.
So Matteo is the only users of Orchard 1. Maybe they will stop using Orchard 1 and we can leave Orchard 1 as it is and just focus on Orchard 1.
We also still use it a little bit, and we have some clients to do, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not for long.
Same for us, we have some plans who are still stuck on that.
Yeah.
Did you do features instead of just web fixes in Orchard 1?
We mostly redid the localization.
Localization, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the Orchard core issues actually reference what they did in Orchard 1 because it just works super well, and we didn't really need to redesign the feature for Orchard core because they figured out how to do it.
A lot of trial and error in Orchard 1.
Yeah, I know.
And Benedek's first session in Orchard Harvest was about localization and settlement.
No, I think it was WordPress migration.
Okay, maybe first. But you did localization. Also.
I did localization, I think,
So
in
you did
Amsterdam,
the
yes.
first was WordPress, I think.
Yeah.
With Zoltan.
True.
You could not do anything without Zoltan.
It
Now,
depends.
yeah, look at that. Now you do the keynote by yourself.
And I didn't, mess up, so yeah, all good.
Silke's first contribution.
So I did some experimentation with inline editing, but that never made it. And but the one commit that I remember well was fixing the icon of the workflows module that you created. It worked much better.
See
In
how
the admin?
he's starting to place Elsa already.
Oh yeah.
And
So you just started first with fixing an icon, and then you wrote something that's completely from scratch that is even better.
So actually that is so the workflows module was ported to Orchard Core. That's what I did. Regarding that module.
All right.
And then, bug fixing of many bugs I fixed in Orchard 1. Added some modules like the layouts module.
layout. I wanted to mention that because that's your biggest contribution to Orchard 1.
Yes,
Layouts, that was insane. Yes. That's
Yeah.
huge.
that was a lot.
That's huge. Cool.
Yes. I need to
Zoltan,
keep
what was your first?
I don't remember. Maybe some little alternate. So I did like a little, I don't know, alternate for something new. Or something very simple, but I can't.
Shapes related, so again, and we don't have a presentation this year on shapes. Looking at you, Sebastian.
It's okay.
It's not.
We don't need-
Okay. Next year, shapes next year, promise.
So new CMS, we'll do new CMS.
What?
Just right.
Okay, I think we can move on. All right, so let's see. Let's invite Vicky back, and she will introduce the next speaker.